One of the greatest inhuman, barbaric practices became legal in our country. On January 22nd, keep them up, guys, keep them up. Bear with me. Bear with me. On January 22nd, I'll hold it. I don't know what's going on. On January 22nd, 1973, Roe v. Wade became the law of the land, making it legal for a woman to kill her child throughout all 9 months of her pregnancy. On January 22nd, 1973, the United States of America Supreme Court decided to legally take away the right to life of millions. Those of you who have your hands raised right now are the lucky ones who survived. Those of you who have your hands raised could have been aborted. Those of you who have your hands raised could have been killed with no questions asked. And this is still the law of the land. This should infuriate you. You can put your hands down. Thank you. We come here today as one to celebrate life and all its many joys, its ups and its downs, and the numerous blessings that are laid upon us. But we also come here today to mourn the 1/3 of our generation that is missing, the 1/3 of us who didn't get to raise their hands. The 1/3 of our generation that should have been protected by our government, the 1/3 of our generation who screamed silently in the womb as an innocent bystander, the 1/3 of our generation that now surpasses over 50 million lives lost to the horror that is abortion. We are living during some hard times today, where life is not only devalued, but it is unappreciated. However, I remain steadfastly and wholeheartedly optimistic. I am personally optimistic because of the hope and faith I find in Jesus Christ, and because of the church he and I both love so greatly. I have hope in him alone, and no other man, you might know who I mean, can bring us true hope. I am also optimistic because of my peers, my friends, and all the young people who stand out here today, from the children to the college students, who will vow to fight for life. At the University of Florida and college campuses throughout the state and the nation, students are fighting to take back the campus and promote a culture of life. We aren't taking the pro-choice lies anymore as truth. The University of Florida Pro-Life Alliance works day and night and day, and day and night, striving to educate the student body about abortion, euthanasia, and embryonic stem cell research. Our creative events and hard work have gotten us some real attention within the past few months and throughout 2008. In January of 2008, the University of Florida opened the doors for Dr. Death, also known as Jack Kevorkian, to come speak on our college campus. United and determined and joined with hundreds within the Florida community, and we joined together and said, death is not welcome here. Within a week or two later, we were off to Washington, D.C., where we'll be heading again. And we went to the National March for Life, and we went to the Students for Life of America conference. In February of 2008, the University of Florida Pro-Life Alliance brought the Genocide Awareness Project to campus. And for the first time, for many students, this put a face and a picture to abortion. Students were shocked, angry, upset, mad, and had several questions when discussing and discovering the realities of abortion. In March, we talked to students passing by our Cemetery of the Innocents display, kind of like showed here today, representing the 4,000 abortions performed every day in America. Throughout the summer, whether on the UF campus or back in their hometowns, members of Pro-Life Alliance remained active in their pro-life work. Some students, led by our other co-president, Ruth, of Pro-Life Alliance, would make the drive back to Gainesville for a day or two to just flyer our table and tell new students about our organization and why life must be respected. I myself was in Washington, D.C. with a pro-life internship. For 8 weeks, I was able to experience the pro-life movement in a new light with true diversity. As a missionary for life, I worked with Students for Life of America and Feminists for Life. Whether I was running errands on Capitol Hill, attending defund Planned Parenthood press conferences, preparing Capitol Hill briefings, or just packaging and licking envelopes, the experiences and training I received in Washington, D.C. were monumental to shaping my pro-life leadership, and I am so grateful. This past semester at the University of Florida, we continued our regular weekly educational and planning meetings, tabling days to get the word out on campus, sidewalk counseling, candlelight vigils, and more. We were named Pro-Life Group of the Month for September by Students for Life of America. We won first place in the Students for Life of America first ever video activism contest. Woo! Go Florida! We also held over 20 events. And that isn't even including attending political rallies, all to make sure that candidates knew that we students, that we sided with life and at the University of Florida. And not only do we side with life, but it triumphs all other political issues. This spring, at the University of Florida, we will continue to advance and hold countless events. Students at UF will also be working hard to put together the first ever pro-life state conference specifically for students. High school and college students should look forward to this conference in March, and if you're on Facebook, just join Florida Students for Life and you'll get more info. Abortion and the culture of life is more than a religious and political debate. It is a calling, a siren. An innocent victim is waiting for the young people of this country to stand up and be their voice. Perhaps you looked around earlier when you had your hand raised. You may have noticed that you're not alone. It is because we know that we are not alone that we will win this battle. It is because we know that we are not alone that we will win this battle. I'll repeat it again. It is because we know that we are alone that we will win this, that we are not alone that we will win this battle. I challenge and ask all young people to stand up today willingly and ready to fight like never before for life. Join and start pro-life groups at your schools. Talk to your classmates about life issues. Become educated on all matters, from conception to natural death. Research and do your school essays on abortion whenever possible. And most importantly, pray. We cannot afford to lose one other child or let life be devalued or underappreciated anymore. Our children, grandchildren, future of our country, and the future of our world is at stake. We cannot afford to be silent. In Acts 18:9, it says, "And the Lord said to Paul in the night by a vision, 'Do not be afraid any longer, but go on speaking and do not be silent.' So as Scripture has said, and the late John Paul the Great told us many times, I will now say again to all the young people here, and if you don't consider yourself young, you can still take it. Just take it too. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. I say to you today, friends, peers, and teens, do not be afraid to serve a cause greater than yourself. Do not be afraid to do the right thing. Do not be afraid to stand up for life. Life triumphs all. God's plan for us begins in the womb, and we must always remember and must not be afraid to let the world know just that. We must always be willing to work for this pro-life cause and mission because lives are hanging in the balance. This isn't the Frisbee Club. It's something so much more. Whether in the workplace or at school, there is a role for everyone in the pro-life movement. I beg you, do not just stand for life today. Do not just march only today. Let this be your siren call to begin changing the world around you to value and respect life always. Thank you so much.